Hello, good evening. This is over and over and over again. My name is Richard, and this is, of course, the Arsenal Women's Show. Happy New Year. It's our first show of 2025. It's been a long break, hasn't it, with no games. But there's still a lot to talk about, as there always is, of course, on the show. Now, the announcement of manager still hasn't been made. Well, we're going to talk about that. What are the club playing out on that side of things? Incredible. The transfer window, of course, is open, but with no manager, no director of football. What a mess. Anyway, we're going to look at whether or not there's going to be any incomings or outgoings in the next few weeks. So that's coming up as well. Of course, there is a game this weekend. Well, hopefully there's a game. Weather permitting, there's a game on Sunday. Of course, the FA Cup, we haven't won that trophy for quite some time. We kick off with a home game against Bristol City of the Championship. So we're going to look ahead to that as well. And also as well, we're going to give our one hope for 2025 for the Arsenal women. What's the one thing that we really hope for this year? I'm sure we've all got our own ideas about that. So that's all coming up. Lots and lots of great stuff. As always, of course, your comments and questions, so please pop them in the chat box and we'll obviously go through that as well if we can. It's all coming up, of course, the other side of this. And of course, joining us as always, of course, the Lord Andreas. Happy New Year. How are you?
Yeah, Happy New Year to you, Richard, and to all our viewers. Yeah, I'm glad to be back on the show and looking forward to everything we have to discuss. I just received a message from Amar. He can't join us. He feels ill. I think he had to go home earlier from work, so he won't join us probably.
Yes, he sent me the same message. Yeah, so I hope you're feeling a bit better, Amar, soon, and hopefully you'll be back on the show, I'm sure, very soon. I think Angie's supposed to be joining us as well, but you know what her timekeeping's like, so we'll excuse her for being a little bit late. But anyway, we can crack on because me and Andreas, we can hold the fort. We've done it before, and I'm sure we can do it again. So, I mean, where to start, really? It's been, obviously, there's been a few weeks with nothing going on. Well, there's been no games happening. Not that there's been nothing going on. There's always something going on in the world of Arsenal and Arsenal women, of course. But I think that the one thing we need to maybe start the show with this week is something that, for some reason, still hasn't been resolved. I mean, it seems incredible that we're sitting here in January and we're still in the same situation we were in, was it October, when Jonas resigned? It's incredible that the club haven't made a decision. Now, it's almost got to the point now, yes, I think we all want Renee to be given the job, certainly until the end of this season for the work that she's done. But it's getting to the point now when just announce something, anything. We cannot carry on like this. It's ridiculous. I don't know what the club are playing at. Yes, there's no director of football, though there is for the women, technically. Claire Wheatley's kind of that position, I suppose, in the women's team. So I suppose we have got one there. There's not really an excuse, though, for the club to be dragging this out. I mean, I've heard the stories that there's been a extensive interview process. How many people are they interviewing? What more has Renee got to do? If you don't give Renee the job after the work that she's done, then honestly, I'll give up with this club. It's ridiculous. I mean, Andreas, what are you making of this? It's ridiculous that we're still here in January, we're in the transfer window, and we don't have a permanent manager.
I don't understand what the club is doing. What were they working on in the last days? Had they all got days off during Christmas and New Year's Eve? And I don't understand this. And we all read that they are in the final third of the managerial search, and they had interviews with a lot of candidates, and they have top three left with whom they are speaking. And and every day you get the information. The decision will be made shortly, and the announcement is coming. But when we start the new year on Sunday, hopefully on Sunday, with an FA Cup game, and then a week later with a game against Palace. No definite manager. I can't understand it. And the question is, what else should Renee have done? She ticked all the boxes that were needed. She brought us back to winning ways. She won the Champions League group. She won with one exception, one draw at Man United. They won all the matches in the WSL. The players are happy. I don't know. The only reason could be she doesn't want the job. But I think the way she behaved in the press conference was, I think if she doesn't want to have the job, then she could say this and everything would be clear. But she didn't say this, but yeah, she said nothing to all these questions. And I think this means she would take the job, but she can't sit in the press conference and say, yes, I would like to have the job. And if they give it to me, I'll take it. But if not, well, I will be disappointed. She can't say this. But exactly that's the fact. If they don't give her the job, I see the danger that she could move to San Diego Wave together with Jonas. She said that she had still contact with him. So there seems to be a connection between them. And yeah, if Arsenal doesn't come to a decision and Renee is disappointed about the way she's treated, then there's a real danger she might leave the club. And then we are standing with nobody. I don't understand why it takes so long. As we said very often in December in our show, make a decision. If you don't announce Renee, announce someone else, but make a decision. Now it's 10 days in the transfer window. We can't do anything because we have no manager and no player will sign for a club not knowing who the manager will be.
Yeah. Honestly, it's ridiculous. It's for a club of Arsenal's size and stature in women's football. It is completely, it's completely wrong that the club have got into this situation. You know, I can't get my head around what the problem is with it. You know, either Renee's done enough to get the job on a permanent basis, which I know most of us believe that's the case, or if the club don't think she has, then give it to somebody else. Don't drag it on and drag it on. 1 block of games, 2 blocks of games, 3 blocks of games. You know what I mean? It's honestly now I'm shocked, and I wasn't expecting that we'd be sitting here tonight talking about this, because I thought we'd be talking about the new manager announcement, whoever it was, and that's what we'd be talking about, not that the club still haven't done anything from 3 months ago. It's utterly ridiculous, and for a club of Arsenal size, it makes us look amateurish. It makes us look amateurish. We're going into the transfer window without a permanent manager. We've got an interim manager. You know, we're starting up again. WSL starts next week. The FA Cup starts hopefully this weekend, and it's a mess. It's a complete and utter mess. And honestly, I don't know what is going on. Every day for the last pretty much 3 or 4 weeks that there's been no football, I've just been waiting for the announcement. I've been waiting for it. It's going to happen today. It's going to happen today. It's going to happen today. And it hasn't happened. Okay, Christmas come along. You think, well, fair enough. The new year, get out of the way. January the 2nd, January the 3rd. They're going to announce it. Last weekend, they're going to announce it. No, and here we are about to play a game, and they still haven't done anything. They haven't done anything. They're saying they've interviewed these people. Who have they interviewed? Who on earth have they interviewed? Why aren't they actually saying these are the people? I agree with you, Andrea. Renee could not come out and say, I want the job. Because if she does that, she doesn't get it, there's going to be uproar from the fans. There's going to be, it's going to be a difficult situation. Of course, she can't come out and say it. And I kind of feel a bit sorry for her being put in that situation every single week in the press conferences. She's having to answer these questions. And the club, someone from the club should make an announcement, either to say, look, we're going to sort this out. We're going to announce it on this day, or we're going to, whatever they're doing, someone announce it, because it's ridiculous. For a club of our size, it's embarrassing, honestly. It is embarrassing that this has gone on for 3 months. And Renee can't have done any more to get the job with the results on the pitch, the performances, the way she's sort of turned it around. The only thing I can think of is because of her links to Jonas. Is that what's the club are reluctant to give her the job because of the link to Jonas? I don't know if that's the reason. Do they want to make a complete break away from that and move it in a different direction? If they do, that's fine, but they should have done that 2 or 3 months ago, not left it till now when Renee's won 10 games out of 11, won the Champions League group, as you said, got us flying in the league again, closing in on Man City. To make that decision now and say, sorry, Renee, but actually we're going to go in this direction. We're not going to give you the job. It's honestly, it's ridiculous. And I can't actually, it's one of many things going on at Arsenal, not just in the women's side of it, but the club as a whole, that is just, it looks like the club are losing their way. someone needs to take control of it somewhere along the way. We need a director of football in place. We need a permanent manager for the women's team. We obviously need a new manager for the men's team, but that's a different issue. And we just need someone needs to get the club by the scruff of the neck and actually say, this is what we're doing. We're moving it forward like this, and make some decisions. Make some decisions, hard decisions that they might well be, some of them, but they've got to be made. We're not here for fun. We're here a serious football club. We're here to try and win some trophies and be one of the leading clubs in the world, which is what we've always been. And now we're a laugh. Honestly, I think we're a laughing stock now. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I mean, Chelsea fans must be laughing at us. They must be. Everybody must be laughing at us not having a manager for 3 months. Ridiculous.
Interim manager who is manager of the month December.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? They announce that, and you think, well, okay, Arsenal, the next day announce that you've given her the job, but no, there's still no announcement. What? Oh, it's madness. Yeah, I think she won 2 manager of the month since she's been in charge. I'm sure she has, but she definitely won the December. Yeah. And it's like, come on, guys, what are you doing? It's ridiculous. Greg says, hi, Rich in the chat. What a mess the club is in. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. It's a mess. From top to bottom, it's an absolute mess. Joe says, Happy New Year, Rich and Lordy Lord. Happy New Year to you, Joe, as well. Good to see you. Dean says, lack of announcement is insane. It is absolutely insane. It's incredible, actually, for a club of our size and stature. It is ridiculous. Roy says, maybe Arsenal need to think about dropping some of the men into the women's team. Yeah, maybe they do. That wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? They'll probably do a bit better, actually. Roy says that this club is imploding. Well, I get the feeling not all is well with the club inside. Inside the club, there's issues, there's problems. Edu's left. We don't really know why. We haven't replaced him. We've got Jonas, the women's manager, left. We haven't replaced him. And these things happened months ago. The club are in. I don't know what is going on. Honestly, I don't know. It is a mess, and you're right. It feels like the club's imploding, doesn't it? Something needs to happen quickly. Greg says, listen to her conference today. I don't think she's got the job. I think she'll be gone to another club before the Chelsea game. Well, I don't know. She was quite evasive of the question, but you can understand why she was evasive of the question, because she can't really come out and say too much, because she's stuck in the middle, really, isn't she? A little bit. She said she's been interviewed for the job along with other people. Why they needed to interview other people after the work that she's done, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, it is madness. Terry says, good evening, Richard, Lordy Lord. We're going to all chat here, my friends. So good to see you again. LG says, Claire Wheatley is useless. What does she actually do? Well, obviously nothing. She's just sitting on her hands doing nothing, quite honestly. I don't know what she does. She's just a figurehead of something. What do you think she does, Andreas? Do you think she does anything, Claire Wheatley, too much? She doesn't seem to, does she?
She's on the photos and videos with new signings, and she holds the shirts to the camera from the new signings. I think this is her job. I don't know what she's doing. Anything else?
She doesn't seem to be, does she? She doesn't seem to be. I agree. I don't know what she's doing. Honestly, it's ridiculous. They're probably paying a lot of money as well to do nothing, really. It's crazy. Terry says, thank God Arsenal haven't given Rene the job. Just need to get Arteta out now, and we can become a top-notch club again. Well, I agree with the second part of that. I'm not quite sure about the first part of that. I do think Rene deserves the job. Whether we think it would have been the right decision 3 months ago or not, she deserves the job for the work she's done. I don't think anyone can really argue with that. Terry says, I would like to be the first to welcome Salty to the mighty Arsenal. That's the announcement that we all kind of wanted a few months ago. I'd have took her a few months ago. I'm kind of thinking I'd rather have Rene now, if I'm honest. I would rather have Rene now. I think she's done more than enough. Roy says Arsenal is the biggest women's football club in the world on attendance alone. Nobody comes close. Absolutely, yeah. Rene wants the job. The fans want her to have the job, but from the club, silence. Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. I can't get me in. Honestly, I can't get me in. I've been sitting here for the last 2 weeks thinking, come on, it's going to happen today. It's going to happen today. Looking, checking the app, checking all the news. Where is it? Where's the announcement? It's mad. Honestly, it's crazy, isn't it? Greg says this is typical of Arsenal. They say they are one club, but keep proving they don't care about the women. Well, no, I agree, and there's something else we're going to talk about a bit later as well, which I think even proves that even more. Actually, Ryan's from the Mr. Arsenal podcast with us. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hope you're well. LG says imagine the meltdown if Mr. Nicholas Cushion isn't out. Well, apparently he got ruled out of it, didn't he? But who knows? It would be crazy if he now gets given the job after all of this that's gone on. Ag says, hello from Sweden. How are you doing? Good to see you again. Roy says, hello, Sweden, indeed. It sounds like the Eurovision Song Contest, doesn't it? Hello, Sweden. Can we have your scores on the dot?
Yeah.
From the 1960s, when Abby used to win it all the time. Sweden, 12 points. I remember all that. Brilliant. Ryan says, literally been saying the same thing. What else can she do at this point? If you don't get the job, there will be a riot. So, yeah, need to stop dragging this out. Even Wright is getting annoyed. Yeah, exactly. There's no need to have dragged it out. I mean, if they, in a way, as much as Rene deserves the job, and I think most of us think she should get the job, if they announce it now or next week, why on earth didn't they announce it 2 months ago? Why have they taken that long? If the only delay for me, and I'm starting to think this now is more the case, the only reason to delay is because the right person, or not the right person, the person that they want hasn't been available or they haven't been able to get, and that's the only reason to wait. There's no reason to wait this long to announce Rene next week. So my worry is, well, I don't know if it's a worry. It depends who they announce, I suppose. But I'm starting to think now that how can they give Rene the job? Why didn't they? Well, they could have made the announcement before Christmas. They could have made the announcement after the Bayern Munich game. That would have been the perfect time, wouldn't it? You know, after that fantastic win that night, would it not have been the perfect time to have announced it after that? So, in a way, it seems crazy to announce it now, if that's what they're going to do. Honestly, nobody knows what's happening. It's absolutely ridiculous. Roy says, in 40 years of supporting this great club, both men and women's teams, I have never seen it act in such an amateurish way. It's all easy stuff as well. Back Arteta, give Rene the job and move forward. Well, yeah, I think I agree with most of that. Maybe I wouldn't necessarily back Arteta, but yeah, the men's team needs to be backed in the right way in terms of buying the players that we need to move forward. Absolutely, whoever the manager is. Ryan says the Christmas break was a perfect time to make it. Exactly, it was. Yeah, I'd say after the Bayern Munich game, but yeah, at some point during the Christmas break. I say if they was to announce Rene next week, it's like, what was you waiting for? What was you waiting for? Will they ever say the reasons why they waited that long? I don't think they will, but we shall see. LG says we were getting mocked by rivals by being called Attendance FC under Jonas, but Rene has really turned us into a serious football team. She has, yeah, exactly. The players obviously love her. She loves working with the players, and she's made that perfectly clear. She hasn't necessarily said she definitely wants a job, but she said she likes working with the players. I got the feeling today that what might be happening is she might be staying on as a coach and still working with the players. I'm kind of starting to feel that might be what's happening. But anyway, whatever is happening, it needs to be sorted out. The club need to announce it, and they need to announce it quickly. They should have announced it ages ago, and they need to do it, quite honestly, because now it's got to the point where you're making yourselves look really, really bad. Amateurish, as we've mentioned there, that's a good word for it. It is amateurish. Even Sunday League football teams don't go this long without getting a new manager. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. LG says the Bayern game was the one that sold me Rene. I felt that was a real test of Rene's credentials. You know, I agree, and I think I could understand in a way why the club were waiting until that game, because that was the first real big test, wasn't it, that she'd faced. Like, okay, no game's easy. We had some difficult away games as well in the WSL, but that was the big test, and she came through that with flying colours. It would have been the perfect time. That's what makes me now think, the more I think about it now, maybe she's not going to get it. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's going to become coach again, and they'll have someone else. I don't know. It would be crazy, but yeah, that I wouldn't necessarily say it was a game that sold me. I think I've sort of been sold before that Bayern Munich game, but that was the thing that sealed it. I'm like, she's got to have the job now. After that, she's got to. But here we are, and still no news. Terry says you're all whinging, but Arsenal have made their decision. Rene ain't got the job, and you just need to accept it. Well, she hasn't got the job yet, no, because it hasn't been announced. Nothing's been announced, so who knows? Greg says, Rene said, we're going to be quiet in January. Other teams are improving. We won't win anything this year. Well, see, I want to come on to the transfer in a minute, actually, but so we will talk about that. But I don't necessarily agree with that necessarily, but I mean, we will see. But yeah, I mean, come on, Arsenal, announce the manager, whoever it is, announce it. If it's Rene, brilliant, but you should have done it 3-4 weeks ago. If it isn't Rene, it's someone else. Let's hope it's someone exciting. I mean, obviously, Andreas, I know you kind of want Rene. I want Rene, but if it isn't Rene, who do you think is going to be the most likely one now after all this time? Do you think there's anyone else that you can think of that they're likely to give it to now? Because I can't really think of anyone.
No, that's the problem. Where's the alternative? I think that's also the problem of the club. They were interviewing a few candidates, but where is the perfect solution? I don't see this perfect solution. And we heard about Nick Cushing. He said he is not interested, and Casey Stoney is now linked to the Canadian national team. So whom are they waiting for? And I think the perfect time would have been when Rene was announced as manager of the month. And this is so ridiculous that we or the club made postings saying our interim head coach was voted manager of the month. Didn't they realize how ridiculous this sounds? Our interim head, we don't have not even an interim manager, interim head coach.
Honestly,
make an announcement, and even if they say we are still in interviews and we will make the decision or the announcement before the Palace game, just say something. But now this silence, and now in 2 days the FA Cup starts, and then a week later the Palace game starts. What will they announce? Rene Slagers is to stay for the next period as interim head coach, and until mid of February, or until the North London derby. I don't know. So, yeah, I was, as you said, I was waiting for the announcement every day. But the longer it takes, I think maybe she will not get the job. And as I said, I'm afraid that if she wants the job, then she might leave, and then this leaves us in a total mess if we don't have the perfect candidate. What if all these interviews and this delay causes Rene to say, I want clarity for my future career. I have offers from maybe Aston Villa or from San Diego. Or if Arsenal can't decide, then I will make a decision. I don't know where the perfect candidate is. Maybe someone from Scandinavia, as the Scandinavian season is over. But their season ended in early December or mid of December. So there was time enough for interviews and saying, this is the perfect candidate. Let's announce this man or this woman.
It is, honestly, I mean, I don't know who else. I mean, the club probably aren't going to come out and say all the different candidates that they've got and who they've interviewed. I don't suppose they could really say that. That probably wouldn't be fair. But I can't actually think of anybody else apart from the name. Obviously, Nick Cushing was mentioned, and I don't think that's not happening. So I'm at a loss to think of who it could possibly be. But I kind of agree. The longer this drags on, the less likely it seems Rene's going to get it. Because there would have been no point in waiting this long, as I said. So it just, I mean, I don't know. LG says probably they are waiting for the Chelsea and City back-to-back away games. Well, it's almost, so are they waiting for us to lose a game so they can make a decision and the fans will be happy? Is that what they're waiting for? They're waiting for that. Maybe they thought we'd lose to Bayern Munich, and then they could announce that someone else is manager, and they thought, the fans won't mind because we just lost the game. Are they waiting for us to lose to Chelsea and Man City, or lose one of them games, and then we can announce it now? It's the right time because we've just lost the game. I mean, if they're waiting for that, then honestly, the club can. I don't know what to say. That is ridiculous. I don't think that can possibly be the reason, surely. And what if we win both of those games, or maybe draw one and win one? What happens then? Do you know what I mean? They can't announce someone else, can they? If we come out with 4 points or more in them 2 games, well, I mean, come on. Joe says, I've been thinking that she'll be head coach with a manager to handle the non-player stuff. Carla Ward said she'd love a job as that kind of manager. I don't think I want Carla Ward really anywhere near our club, if I'm totally honest. But she may well like a job like that. I'm sure she'd love the Arsenal job. I'm sure there's lots of people who'd love the Arsenal job, which is incredible that we still haven't got one, really, when we could pretty much give it to anyone that we want. Terry says, if we have to wait until the end of the season for Salty, then so be it. I'll get Big Engine as an interim manager, and when he's sacked from Spurs soon. Well, no, I don't know about Big Engine. Well, I quite like him actually. He's quite funny. Greg says she'll be managing Villa within 2 weeks. Well, that's a possibility if something doesn't happen. And you wouldn't blame her. Let's face it. Who could blame her when the club really are messing her around? They're messing around, I think. She might not necessarily see it like that, but I do. I think they're messing around. And if she decided to go somewhere else, get another offer, who would blame her, really? Who would blame her for taking her job when she's not being offered this one? But like you said, maybe she knows already what the outcome is. I don't know. Greg says, we don't want another Scandinavian manager. Their leagues are worse than the Championship League. Well, yeah, they are. But I don't know. Scandinavian managers are quite popular, aren't they? In the WSL. So who knows? So we'll have to see. Egg says can't wait to see the Super Swedes playing against Lena and Rose. I don't think Lena's going to be playing because apparently she's been given an extended break over the winter period. I think there's another player that she said as well, wasn't it? Had an extended break. So I can't remember who that was now. Who was the other one, Andres? Do you know? There was someone else, wasn't there?
Yeah,
it wasn't. Oh, Emily Fox. Fox. Mm. So they won't be playing this weekend. I mean, they might be fit for the Crystal Palace game. Maybe back for that one. I'm not sure. LG says appointing a different person now will likely disrupt our season. Yeah, Leisure stands here. Exactly. But why have they waited this long? That's disrupting everything anyway, isn't it? So I don't quite understand what's going on there. But anyway, I mean, they haven't announced it, so there's nothing we can do about it other than be frustrated and annoyed that it's taken this long. But let's hope that when they do finally announce it, it's the right decision. Whether it's Renee, whether it's somebody else, it's the right decision. That's what they've got to make now. They can't afford to get this wrong. They've waited long enough. They've got to get it right one way or the other, haven't they? So let's hope that we've waited a long time, and when it is announced, it will be an exciting announcement, whether it's Renee, which I'll be excited about, or whether it's somebody even more exciting than that, a top manager from somewhere in Europe, who knows? But whatever it is, it needs to be the right decision. LG says, don't forget that Renee is no slouch either. She won back-to-back Spanish league titles. So she's some kind of experience. No, exactly, yeah. And she's done a great job. And I think that's the most important thing, isn't it? She's done a great job at a difficult time when she had to come and take it over. So she deserves it. She deserves it. There's no doubt in my mind. But she hasn't got it yet. We're going to hopefully by next week's show, we will not be talking about this. We'll be talking about the announcement, whatever it is, and talking about that by next week, hopefully. But I kind of given up thinking that's going to happen anymore. It's just like I haven't got a clue. I have not got a clue. But of course, it is January, and January, of course, only means one thing. Now, it's quite interesting again in the press conference today. It was an interesting press conference, actually. Then when they sort of said that, she doesn't expect whatever the situation is, she doesn't expect any new arrivals in the playing side because they're happy with the squad, which I kind of get that. I kind of agree with that. You look through the squad of players that we've got, and you think to yourself, where do we need to strengthen right now between now and the end of the season? And I'm not sure we necessarily do. We've given some young players some contracts as well now. So they're going to be, starting their careers. They might get some opportunities in the squad. But I can't think of anything in particular. I think to myself, where do we need to strengthen, particularly right now, between now and the end of the season? I mean, Andreas, is there any sort of position, not necessarily player name necessarily, but any positions that you think we could do with now between now and the end of the season? Or do you think we've got enough to get us through the season and still be successful? I know Greg didn't seem to think so before, but I kind of think we probably have. What do you think about
that? I think we are a bit small in fullbacks. Of course, we have Laura Winwouter. She could play when Emily is not there, but she comes back from an injury. And then on the left side, it's Steph Catley is now centre back, and there's no one who could play for Katie McCabe. So if injuries happen, so I think we're a bit weak on fullbacks, and as we said before the season, we need a winger with more pace. And so far we only have one winger who stays on the wing. That's Caitlin Ford. Beth is always trying to cut inside, and Lena Hurtig she's a bench player who brings an impact when she comes from the bench, but we haven't seen her starting a game. So And when or if she starts, is she the typical winger who stays on the wing like Caitlin does? And besides all, we don't have wingers with a lot of pace. It's also a thing with age thing. They are all between 28, 30. So if we look for someone, I would say a winger with pace and maybe a fullback. But at the moment we not necessarily need a player because if no serious injuries happens or an injury crisis like we had 2 years ago, I think with the current situation, no definite manager and the interim head coach saying that she's satisfied with the squad, I don't think that we will act on in the transfer window. The only thing we have done is given the youngsters pro contracts, and I think this transfer window will be a very quiet one for Arsenal. Maybe Catherine Kuhl will leave to Everton, and then if one goes, maybe we bring one in. But I don't see any names rumored with us, so maybe nothing will happen.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm not expecting anything, if I'm honest, and I wouldn't necessarily be that concerned if we don't sign anybody, because I think we've got a well-balanced squad. Yes, the left-back situation, you're right, actually. I kind of looked at it as Steph and Katie as two options, but you're right, Steph's been playing centre-back and doing so well there, brilliant there. So, but then we have got other players who can play centre-back. We've got obviously Leia Cadena, obviously Lotta as well when she's kind of fit, which she seems to be again. So, Steph could go back to the left-back position if Katie was injured or whatever it was. So I think we've got options. And I'm not saying that long-term, I think we maybe do need to look at certainly the left-back position, maybe, because I don't think it's Katie McCabe's strongest position, is it? I think she's stronger further up the pitch, possibly, although she can do a great job there. And obviously Steph can do a great job there. But now I don't want her to move away from a centre-back because she's been so good. But yeah, other than that, I'm not overly concerned. I mean, LG says a left winger. Yes, potentially. I think Caitlin Ford's actually had a decent season, actually, and I thought she had a decent season last year. And I'm not, but yes, do we have much cover there? If Caitlin doesn't play left on that left-hand side, yes, Katie McCabe could play there and Steph left back, as we said, and shuffle things around. But yeah, maybe a left winger. Are we that? Yeah, maybe we could look at that position here. Maybe the left side of the team is looking not necessarily now, but certainly in the summer. Ryan says, you're right, I don't think we need many new players. Just one big signing maybe would be nice. You don't tend to get too many big signings in January. I know we got Steiner in January, obviously, a couple of years ago, but you don't tend to get too many big signings in January. But, another big signing would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Wow. Greg says, we've got an aging midfield. We need a good holding midfield. Well, Vicky Palova's coming back. She's coming back to fitness, isn't she? But you're right, we do have an aging midfield, but this is January. And we can worry about the aging midfield in the summer. What do we need to get us between now and the end of the season is what we need to think about for now. And I think the aging midfield that we've got, with Vicky Palova coming back to fitness, with Kyra Cooney-Cross as well, Katerina Coy, she does stay. I think we're okay between now and the end of the season. I'm not saying it isn't an area to look at, but I think for now, I'm not overly concerned about that situation now. We can manage the minutes of Kim if we need to. Leah Volt is just coming back from an operation, so hopefully she might be getting, she might be able to go through the season without too many problems now, so we'll see. Terry says, Arteta has skinned the club. Well, yeah, that might be true, actually. There's a lot of money's being spent. Egg says, Arsenal don't need more players. The girl is great, and they need Renee Harmony. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't think we do really need too many players. But there's one person that we do need, and of course it is. And how are you? Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Well, what's your excuse for being late, though?
Okay, I had an MOT at 7:00 this morning, and it's quite cold down south. So my little wee old car, I didn't even have the icer, scraping it away. It was flipping cold, Ness. It really was. So yeah, whatever. Then I come back, went out again to pick the car up. It passed. Whoop. All of that jazz, and then went to work. got out of work. It was cold again, and then I just been a pig. Actually, I come home and I thought I need comfort food. Yeah, next. Sorry, but anyway, you guys are doing fine. Thank you.
Well, you know what we thought, Ange? We thought that, because Arsenal hadn't announced the manager yet. We thought that they was going to announce you. That's why you wasn't here.
Well, yeah, I have. They consulted me. I've considered it carefully, but I think Rene's got to have it.
No, that's very sporting of you, actually, because it would have been easy to have taken it, I suppose. But we're glad you didn't, because it means that you can join us, and that's got to be a bit more fun than being manager of Arsenal, isn't it? Let's be honest. But no, that's what I thought had happened. I thought that they'd poached you off us. That's what I thought had gone on. I thought
that's it. Yeah,
but obviously not. But anyway,
not to be. Not to
be this time. Maybe next time. LG says Katie McCabe is a left back. That's her best position. She's at her best running into space, which she can't do anything. I don't know. I just think defensively sometimes she's can make mistakes, and that's what worries me a little bit.
I totally agree with that. Is she? Yeah. I don't think it's her best position. She can do a turn, but not her best position.
No. I think Steph defensively is a better left back than Katie is. I think Katie is maybe better at an attacking left back than Steph is. So between them, they've got the perfect combination. But I mean, I love Katie McCabe, but yeah, I think defensively sometimes she flies into things she doesn't need to, create space behind, and her positional defensively is not all that way that great, because she can tackle. People think she's a good defender, but I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think positionally sometimes she's not always the best defensively, but anyway, it's working at the minute because she's been playing left back and it's fine, so we've got no issue with it. But I think long term, I don't think that's her best natural position personally, but I mean, she does a decent job there, there's no doubt. So there you go. Anyway, so I mean, and obviously the transfer window we've been talking about, is there anybody that you think we might bring in? Is there any position you'd like to see us strengthen in between January for the end of the season?
Right, let me get this right, because sorry, I'm dyslexic. Right, it's a bit like Saka, basically, in a different position. Fox. All right, I know we've got Vina Reuter, and sorry, call me out, everybody, but I don't exactly put my faith in her, because that's all you've got to cover Fox, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that could be a possibility, someone who's more stronger. I mean, Fox has hit the ground running. I mean, no, I keep harping on, it's a different position, but look at the men's team without Saka.
Yeah.
Next. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's pretty much with Fox. Yeah. I mean, yeah, basically, I don't know, I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure I read she had 2 ACLs. She's got over them. She's young. Next. But if she goes down again, we're going to be seriously in trouble.
Well, no, I agree, but at least you mentioned Saka, and that's a fair point. But the men haven't got a player who can even come anywhere near to replace him. But at least we've got Laura Wainwright who can do a job there. I'm not saying she's the greatest player.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm being incredibly harsh. Maybe I'm being incredibly harsh, but I don't know. I'm not in stupid. Oh, and I love her so much, but it's a bit like a goalkeeping situation. We praise the Lord for DVD, but I love Manu for her passion. But as soon as I see her in goal, I'm having palpitations. Yeah, fact. And no disrespect to the young. What's the young kid's name? I can't remember her name.
Naomi Williams.
No disrespect. When they went to Australia back in the summer, and I was fortunate enough to watch those matches, and I thought, oh my God. And actually, I tell you who I was more impressed with, the Aussie girl who was a youngster. She was a proper goalkeeper. She was doing the save, she was doing the moves next. Whereas poor Naomi, I thought, no disrespect to her. So, well, the biggest thing at the moment, we're presuming Manu's quite happy playing second fiddle, doing a good turn here. It suits her because, yeah, she's sort of a good enough backup. But for goalkeeper, I don't. But if Manu goes, then you've got to. You're panicking, aren't you?
Yeah, and I think maybe the transfer window might be. I mean, I'm not necessarily thinking anyone's going to leave now in January, but if somebody did leave, anybody does leave in January, then we may need to look at replacing that particular player. If it's Manu, if it's Katrina Cole, whoever it might be. I think that'll be the only time we would potentially do any business if somebody left.
I can't
Which
see,
I don't think
Manu's
they
going to
will.
stay put. I can't see anything happening personally, and I didn't listen to because I was at work, but yeah, I pretty much got what the highlights I saw of what Renee said. Yeah, you got a good squad there. Yeah, we've had a few little wee injuries, but yeah, we're getting over and we're fine next, and hopefully we can keep going there till May.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got enough in the squad as long as we don't get too many injuries all at the same time. You can't ever predict that, can you? And you can't really compensate for that. You can't sign 100 players in case you get a big injury crisis. You've got to hope that you don't, and have a squad that is well balanced and can maybe cope with most situations. And I think we do for now, between now and the end of the season. Obviously, in the summer, I think is the time to really strengthen and replace one or two players. But we'll see what happens there. Greg says, I think with the mess we're in, we'll lose some good players in the summer. Maybe, but by the summer, you'd imagine that this will be sorted out, won't you? All the situation will be sorted out by then. Whether that means players will leave or not, if we get a manager that they don't particularly like or whatever, maybe that some players might want to leave, but I don't know. You might be right, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
Sorry, can I jump in there? Because obviously I do the men's chat. Yeah, thank you, Greg. Interesting concept. And I have already seen it on the whatever X, Instagram, whatever I'm following, too much of it with Arsenal next. But that's very much a men's thing because, yeah, if we don't get anything for the men's with Arteta, and I've seen the likes of Saliba and the star boy, yeah, they are going to start questioning it. Of course they are. They're not winning anything. You've got to win something. Well, my beloved FA Cup for a starter. I'm sorry, for the men. I'll come back to the women very quickly. But I'd be really happy if the men got the FA Cup again. I think they've done quite well. But I can't see it. But back to the women. Well, we're in this transition so far as, and I'm going to put my faith in that, yeah, Arsenal just playing games with us. Of course, they're going to give it to Renee, quite rightly. The girls get her, they're playing well. And yeah, there might be a few, whatever, but that's life. Yeah, I think the girls are going to get something again. I think they're going to be happy. And I'll tell you a player I question, someone like Mariona. Because she's quite mature. What is she, 28 now? And she's come over here. It's something new because she's won everything. But how long is she going to stay here?
Well, who knows? I mean,
yeah, that's the thing. You don't know because we had that wonderful Raffaelli, and we all got really excited about her, and then suddenly she disappeared and went to, was it America, wherever? Which I get because it was sort of kind of near to home.
I suppose yeah, I mean, that can be a risk with any foreign player, I suppose, if they get homesick and stuff. Mariona seems quite committed to the club, to the team. She's playing every week.
So. I think she's a blinding player. I
don't think she'll do. I think she'll stay. I mean, I don't know how long her contract is. It's bound to be 3 years, you'd imagine. So at least I can see her staying for the length of that at least. Personally, I can't. So yes, she's going to want to win trophies. She's used to winning trophies. She's won Champions League. She's won everything at Barcelona. Yeah, she's not going to want to come here and finish second or third and scrape through the qualifiers in the Champions League every year, is she? She's going to want to be winning trophies. And maybe if we can't fulfil that ambition for her, then she might leave at the end of her contract potentially. But that's down to the club to make sure that doesn't happen. To build around her so that we can win the trophies that she needs to win, that she wants to win. Everybody wants to win, let's be honest. Every single player wants to win trophies. That's what they're in it for. That's what we're all in it for. You know, it's sport. Sport's about winning, isn't it? It's about the glory of winning things. But it's especially for a club of Arsenal size, you know, it's all very well, you know, a club like Bournemouth probably don't have any ambitions to win in the men's side of it, or say Crystal Palace in the women's side. They don't have ambitions to win things. They just enjoy competing. But for the big clubs, you've got to be winning stuff, haven't you? And the players at the big clubs want to be winning stuff, and I think that's the right attitude. Greg says KCC and Cole aren't the answer. Neither are good enough as holding midfield, but I think KCC's got potential there. I'm not quite sure about Katerina Call, I'm not sure if she's quite good enough. I'd agree
Oh,
with you
she's
there.
going. Sell her to Everton. Sorry, next, get the monies.
You
So
might
I
be
know
right. Yeah,
Carl.
there seems to be a lot of talk about that, doesn't there? It does seem. So
KCC, I rather like her, and I know that's not good enough. Well, apparently Rice or something in her. That's why he touted her. News. I think she's got potential. Yeah, I'm going to say give her a bit more time.
Yeah, she's probably got potential, but I don't
Mm.
know. She's not a young player in the sense of she's experienced now. She's been at Arsenal 2 years. She plays international football. She's not a young player. She's got experience, and she maybe needs to have stepped up by now to that level, and she hasn't managed to. And yeah, she hasn't played enough. But I don't know. If she was good enough.
How old is she? How old is Kyra?
Young. I think she's what, 21 maybe.
20.
Yeah, okay, so it's still fairly young. And actually, I'm going to argue her game time. She probably hasn't had enough game time. I'm going to give her a bit longer, but everybody's entitled to opinion.
She hasn't had enough game time, but is that because the management and the coaching staff, she's not quite ready?
Well,
they don't think she's quite ready. That could be the reason.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
not
know.
putting their faith in her. I get that.
Yeah, they're not putting their faith in, exactly. Yeah, and there's usually reasons for that, isn't there? There's usually reasons.
Yeah,
is it because of how she's training? Is it because of whatever reasons? We don't know. But yeah, she hasn't played enough games for us, but she's played. She plays international football, so she's not a young.
Well for the Matildas, yeah.
So I'd like to see maybe more of it. Yeah, that's what I want to see. LG says Paloma is our best midfielder. As much as I hate to say it, because she gives Wenger vibes, she'll be like a new signing. Yeah, to be honest with you, I thought Vicky Paloma was our player of the season last year. I thought she was absolutely.
Oh, I went with that. Oh my God, I love that girl. I love her.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I really hope she can come back. I think she will. She's got that tenacity. Yeah. It'll take time. I'm patient, but yeah, she's I just get that Arsenal vibe about her. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Ryan says looking forward to seeing Paloma in midfield again. She's great. Let's give her time though. She's just had an ACL injury. We've seen how long it's took Beth to get her form back. Leah the same. Viv has she even got her form back even now. So let's not expect miracles straight away. We know what a great player she is, but let's be patient with her. Let's not get on her back if she starts slowly, because it will come. We know how great she is, and I love Vicky Paloma. I think she's magnificent, and I can't wait to see her back fit and playing. Absolutely. LG says, if I'm not mistaken, this will be 6 years without a WSL title. It's our second longest wait after 7 years between 12 and 8. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. Yeah, that's it, absolutely. LG says Kyra was born in February 2002, which means she's 23, so she's a bit older maybe than. Yeah, okay, fair enough. She's a young player, but she's not inexperienced. I mean, maybe she's not as young as we assumed, actually. So yeah, maybe she should be stepping up. Right, yeah, maybe she should, and maybe that's what she needs to do this year. That's what we need to see from. Absolutely right, but I don't want to get rid of her or anything like that. She does need more time. She needs more games, and let's hope she'll get them. And I'm sure she will, because she's shown enough, hasn't she, in the games she's played to suggest there's something there. There is something there, but why isn't she getting picked more often? Like you said, 23. She's got 50 caps for Australia. 50.
Yeah, which we questioned, didn't we? Yeah,
we did question, and it was right. Yeah, she has got 50 caps for Australia. Incredible. So yes, we maybe should expect a little bit more from her, maybe. But yeah, I like her. I think she's a good player, and never let us down, really, has she? She just hasn't maybe pushed on and become the player that we maybe hoped that she would. But she's still time. There is still time, and let's hope that it's going to be a big year for her going forward, and I'm sure it will be. Of course, we don't have a manager yet. We're not going to buy any players. Other than that, things are going well. But we do have a game to look forward to. Finally, it's been weeks. When was the last game? Bayern Munich. When was that? It feels like about 6 months ago.
Yeah, big time.
It feels like a long time ago, but we are back in action, hopefully on Sunday, if the weather lets us play the game. And of course, the FA Cup is always exciting, isn't it? I mean, obviously, it wasn't the most glamorous of ties that we could have got drawn with, but a home game against a championship team, you've definitely got to take that for the, for the fourth round. It's a great opportunity for us to get through and start a cup run, because we haven't really done too well in the FA Cup in the last few seasons. We need to have a good run. We need to win it again, to be quite honest. We haven't won it for a long time. We're talking about we haven't won a league title. We haven't won the FA Cup for even longer, have we? So, you know, we're definitely overdue an FA Cup, aren't we? And it's a nice tie to be getting back into it again. I do think that the break in momentum that we had is probably not ideal, and it might take us a couple of weeks to get going again. But the good news is, in a way, we've got 2 teams at home that we should beat.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm not taking anybody lightly, and I wouldn't underestimate anybody. But we've got great opportunity to win these next 2 games regardless. And obviously, starting on Sunday against Bristol City, you know, they got relegated last year. They're doing well in the Championship. You'd expect them to, but we should have far too much, whatever team we put out. I mean, Andreas, it is a big game because it's the FA Cup's important. It's an important competition for us. We've won it the most times, but we need to win it again. Obviously, we should win. But I mean, what are you expecting from the sort of lineup first of all, as well as the performance? Because we could see a few changes to the team, couldn't we?
Yeah. First of all, I expect us to win. It's a knockout game, so there is no playing around or saying if nothing works, then let's take a draw. No, we must win this. I checked the Bristol City season. They are level with points with Birmingham on 2nd position in the Championship at the moment, 20 points. They scored 21 goals and conceded 11 goals so far. So yeah, they are a good Championship team, but not a team that we have to be afraid of, or say if they will be promoted, they will run over every other team in the league. No, it's Championship. It's the 2nd tier, and we should have a decent win. For the lineup, I think Emily won't start because she got this extended holiday, and she deserved this because of how much football she played in the last 18 months or so with no break. So I think Laura Winwater will start as right back, and I think Manu will start in goal. Because it wouldn't be my choice, but I think
you're right.
We'll start. You asked me.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I want Daphne to start, but I know that there is rotation, and in the smaller games, Manu will start. And maybe we'll give a chance to Lotta. For her, it's a frustrating situation. She was player of the season last season, and then due to injury and concussion and whatever she had, she lost her place. And in the important games, in the big games, we couldn't take Leah Williamson and Steph Catley out. So maybe this is a chance to bring Lotta. And in midfield, I heard that Leah Welty is back in full training, but she won't start. I don't think so. Maybe she'll get a few minutes, but I think Kyra will start in midfield. Kim, probably Kim will start, but only plays 60 minutes or so. And in the attacking line, not too many experiments, because we come from a longer break, 4 weeks of break, of no matches. We haven't heard anything of behind closed doors match or anything like that. So in the attacking line, I expect Caitlin, Leslie, and probably Beth to start, and Mariana in midfield. So a little bit of rotation, and normally whoever plays, we must beat Bristol City. It's not a team that's on our level, and as I said, it's a knockout match, so no discussion. We have to win, and we will win. And I will think about my prediction. You will ask later.
You have a think about it. I mean, I think you're right. You don't think Stina will play then? You don't think Stina will start?
Don't think she will start, because you can't rotate too much, because we had this long break, and the WSL continues next week. Therefore, my opinion is, or my expectation is, that she will start in the attacking line with the players Renee considers as her first choice, and that's Caitlin, Leslie, and probably Beth if Mariana is in midfield. Stina in 60 minutes or so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel that Stina might start. She tends to start more in the. I don't want to call them lesser games because the FA Cup's important, but this seems to be the
She's a cup
sort of
game starter. Yeah, get that.
yeah. I would start because she doesn't tend to start very often in
Mm.
in the games in the WSL, for example, in the Champions League. I know she started the Bayern Munich game, but she doesn't tend to start games too often. So I'd like to see her start because she needs to start a few games, and I'm sure this is the sort of team that she could score a few goals against. It might give her a bit more confidence as well, and who knows, it could push her on for the rest of the season, hopefully. But yeah, I mean, Ange, what are you kind of expecting then for Bristol City? Obviously, we should win, shouldn't we? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, we should do them. And sorry, just going back. I've got a feeling Leia Cordina will start.
Yeah, maybe actually. Yeah, she's not played for a while. You might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back to the cup game. Yeah, I totally get you got your first team, but yeah, I think she'll probably get. I could be wrong, but I think she should. I personally think she should get a start personally, and
It'd
she's
be
quite
nice, yeah, no, it would be nice.
versatile as far as I'm aware. She could play either side because ambidextrous footed, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I think she'll probably get a start personally.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I,
Why not?
who knows? Who knows? And so, where's my birthday twin? Oh yeah, I like her. Nice.
No, I mean she's a good player. She just has,
No,
obviously,
she's
you
a
know,
good player. Yeah, she is.
yeah. She's just been she's been pushed down the pecking order a little bit because of Steph Catley's great performances, but you know, if you're going to rest and rotate your team, yeah, if you're going to rest and rotate your team, you rest and rotate your team against Bristol City, don't you? You don't rest and rotate your team against Chelsea or Man City, which are coming up.
No, absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So I would definitely be tempted, like you did, yeah, maybe give Leia Cadena some start in this game, and Lotta. You can even play those two as a partnership, couldn't you, in this game? Lotta and Leia as a
Well, yeah,
partnership.
that's what I'm thinking. And
We could
listen,
even do
we
it,
all
yeah.
love Lotta end of. She's diehard Arsenal, been there forever. And yeah, you want to see her get game time as much as we want to see Stina get game. And yeah, I'm totally with you, Rich. Yeah, she's your cup queen. Yeah, start her.
Yeah.
Give Leslie a rest. We all love Leslie. She's doing really well. But yeah, start Stina.
Yeah, I would start Stina, and I would probably start. Yeah, I hadn't thought about Leia Cadena, but now thinking about it, yeah, I would maybe start her. Yeah, I think that would be a good. That would be a good give her. She needs some game time because if we need her to play, say for example, if we have some injuries and she has to play against Chelsea, you wouldn't want to throw her in against Chelsea or Man City having not played for ages. You'd rather that she's played a recent game. So I would, yeah, I think you're right. I think we should play her.
Yeah.
I would go with it. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely go with that. Yeah. And obviously Stina should play because Stina should play every game. But you know, let's see what happens on if the game goes ahead. Of course, there is a doubt about the game. Of course, with the weather, frozen pitch. Of course, it's at Meadow Park.
Sorry. I haven't had it in our chats. Andreas, you're not coming over. You're in Germany, aren't you?
I'm in Germany.
Yeah,
and,
that's really good because I in Edmonton. Not a zillion miles away from Tottenham, but far away enough next. And it's pretty cold here.
Yeah.
Now, come Sunday, and I'm doing the weather watches, mainly because I'm a driver next, and I've got a silly little car park. And if it freezes over, my car ain't going nowhere. But up there in Hertfordshire, it's going to be very, very cold. And even if I don't think we're going to get snow this weekend. They keep threatening but it hasn't happened. But more importantly, yeah, they'll do that pitch inspection. But I'm going to be more amazed. And I want the game to go ahead, but I just think I'll be more surprised if that game well, listen, Rich, you've been to Meadow Park. It's going to be cold. And that heat is not going to be suitable. No,
I mean, there's no undersoil heat in there for a start off, which is the biggest problem. That's a big problem, isn't it? And the fact that they've moved the kickoff time from what was going to be lunchtime to the afternoon to 3 o'clock, hoping that it's going to give the pitch more time with the afternoon weather. Obviously, it's slightly warmer generally in the afternoon, isn't it? So they're trying to do what they can to get the game to go ahead. But yeah, I think there's a big doubt about it, absolutely. Because
I think there's a serious doubt. I mean, I was actually chatting through WhatsApp with my Dutch friend, and the person that she normally comes over with, they're actually meant to be coming to that game. And the first thing I said to her is, well, yeah, is there actually going to be a match next? And
Yeah,
my
yeah,
Dutch friend was more than sensible. As much she loved, and she's all about Arsenal women, not the men, but it was like, no way. She would, she's had to jiggle things around for the women, but she kind of does a calculated risk, and there's no way she'd have done this one. So I'm just looking at our weather, and this is me in North London on the outskirts. And you're looking back to whatever we were actually hit the minus today, Sunday, and this is where I am. We're going to hit maybe 2, 3 if we're lucky, and if you did, you might want to chat amongst yourselves. I'm just going to do Boreham Wood. I'm just going to type that in for you, so you can chat amongst yourselves. Because I'm just curious. What this is BBC. Sorry to promote it, but. Yeah, what they're predicting, because it has been so cold. I mean, obviously where you are, Rick, it must be horrendous.
Oh, it's cold.
And you
It's
keep going out for runs. I'm surprised you're still with us.
It's been -5. I've been going out running -5, mate. I've just been going
anyway,
right.
sorry. How's our YI man Paula? She must be loving it, mustn't she? That win.
Well, I've not been speaking to her since.
No,
Wednesday.
you're not talking. No, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Too funny.
But, no, she obviously, she obviously enjoyed the fact that Newcastle have won that game, but there's still a second leg to come, isn't there? So she's keeping cool until then, maybe. We'll see.
The problem is it's not the temperatures in the afternoon or when the game should start. The problem is the freezy temperatures in the night.
Yeah.
Pitch is
that is the thing. Yeah, what happens overnight, and it's not going to warm up enough during the day.
That might be the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Well, more importantly, Andrea, I'm not going to bother with that. But more importantly, Andrea, you're not coming over, so you're fine next. Yeah. If we are blessed to get a stream and watch it, that's fine. If not, it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, obviously, if the game's on, I'll be doing the usual thing if it is on. But of course, the thing that's annoyed me a little bit, and I know maybe this is slightly out of everybody's control, but of course now, having moved the kickoff to 3 o'clock, it actually kicks off at exactly the same time as the men's game against Manchester United. Yep. And not the first time that's happened in recent times. Arsenal's last ever, the last women's game was played at exactly the same time as the men were playing against Crystal Palace, if you remember, in the Carabao Cup. So it's happened twice in a row now. And it's frustrating because, yes, I understand they want to get the game played, and the weather is more likely to be playable at 3 o'clock than at 12:30. Maybe I don't know if that's going to make much difference because it starts to get dark soon after 3 o'clock anyway, and then obviously the temperatures drop again. So I'm not really sure whether that's necessarily the biggest thing that they could have done. But anyway, again, it's frustrating, isn't it, when the games are kicking off at exactly the same time. If the women's game does go ahead, the men's game will go ahead because of Anderson being at the Emirates and all this kind of stuff, and I'm sure that will go ahead. There's no doubt there. But I do think there is a doubt about the women's game. You're right, and we'll have to see. I'm sure they'll announce it in the morning on Sunday. I mean, Bristol City got a long travel to do, and I'm sure they won't want them to travel. They'll call it off early enough.
Well, yeah, it's about their supporters as well, very much so.
Yeah, all their one supporter, yeah.
That's
that they've got, or is it two? Is it two they've got? I know the last time I think we talked about this before. I think the last time I saw Bristol City play against Arsenal was when we beat them 11-1, and I don't know how many supporters they had that day in the stadium, but it wasn't more than about 2, I don't think so. But anyway.
Rich, my dad, God rest his soul, was from North Devon, so I get these West Country people, and they don't have the best clubs. Next,
no, they don't. Which is strange because I always think that Bristol should have a Premier League club, really, shouldn't they? I think it's a big enough city to have a Premier League club. Bristol City haven't been in the top division since 1979 or something. So it's mad, really. But yeah, I know the women have sort of done it, and they've been in the WSL a bit, but yeah, no, I'm frustrated that the game is on at 3 o'clock now. But anyway. Let's hope it goes ahead because I think we need to play the game. Otherwise, it's going to lead to another midweek game, more congestion of fixtures later on.
Congestion, big time. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, So let's hope the game does go ahead. I mean, we can't do anything about the weather. That's the only thing. And I say at Meadow Park, no underfloor heating. It's the problem, and it's a big issue. And yeah, the weather doesn't look like it's going to be favourable. But let's keep our fingers crossed and let's hope so. LG says Lotta had an overrated season last season, in my honest opinion. We conceded too many goals, and she was at fault for some of them. She was probably just the best of a bad bunch. I mean, I kind of get your point. I think you've been a little bit harsh. Lotta had a good season last year. I mean, yeah, we did concede too many goals, and she was part of the defence. But a lot of those goals are maybe more down to the goalkeeper than Lotta, if we're totally honest. A lot of them were. So I'm prepared to give Lotta the benefit of the doubt for it. And I thought she had a good season. I thought Vicky Palova was our player of the season last season, but I understand that Lotta did well and probably deserved it as well. But yeah, I think that's a little bit harsh. Greg says if Stina starts, we win by 3. If Russo starts, we win by 6. What if they both start? What if they both start? Do we win by 9 if they both start? Is that what you mean?
Oh, well done. Good maths.
That was good maths, wasn't it? I've surprised myself there, actually. But there you go. Greg says if Sinsberger is in goal, the game is up for grabs. Well, I think if she's in goal, Bristol City might score. They might score a goal or two, but I don't think the game is up for grabs necessarily. LG says I really like Cody to bits, but I have to admit she's not the greatest defender. She has gaps in her game. A solid backup. Yeah, she's probably a solid backup. I think she's all right. I've got no real problems with her. She had a bit of a nightmare against Bayern Munich, didn't she, in that second half when everybody did. It wasn't just her. It hasn't really recovered from that, actually, because she's not really played much since. But anyway, Terry says it's a bit of a frost. If it's that cold, get a pair of gloves on. Well, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily about being cold. It's more about whether the pitch is like rock hard and frozen. That's going to be the problem.
Well, yeah, because we could suddenly have a whole ton of ACLs next.
Well, yeah, exactly. Obviously, player safety is important, and I think that's going to be key, isn't it? And if it's a rock solid frozen pitch, it's not worth taking a risk, is it? But let's hope it is, and let's hope the temperature eases up, and let's hope the ground staff can do some work. I don't know how you can, without undersoil heat. I'm not sure what you can do on a frozen pitch to get it unfrozen, other than maybe get some heat lamps and do what you can. I don't know, but hopefully they can get it on. But let's see. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Colin says, Greg, if Stina and Leslie both play, we should. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Colin's agreeing with me. We should win by 9. So Colin's got good maths as well. That's good. I think they both might play, actually. I think they both might play, but I certainly hope Stina does. Yeah, it would be good. Ag says there, no bad weather for McKay. Well, no, she'll wear short sleeves anyway, whatever the weather is. She'll wear short sleeves. She's not bothered, but I don't think it's her decision whether the game gets played or not, unfortunately. But let's hope it does get played. So if it does get played, we need a score prediction anyway. So Andreas, are you going to give us a good score prediction for this one?
Yeah, I say we'll win 3-0. If Manu is in goal, then there's a danger that it's only 3-1, but I'll go for 3-0 this time, and I'll hope this will give us the push we need for the season, and that's the reason why I want the game to be played, because the WSL starts a week later, and we need match practice, match fitness, and therefore it would be important to play. And on Saturday there's the home game of the Bournemouth men's team. So if this game goes ahead, I think there's a good chance that the women's game will be played too. I hope so, and if it goes ahead, then I'll say 3-0 for the Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, to be honest with you, like you said before, it's a knockout game. The only thing that matters is winning and going through to being in that next round, isn't it? And whether a scrappy 1-0 wouldn't necessarily be an acceptable result against Bristol City, you have to say. But getting through to the next round draw is the most important thing, and nobody getting injured and getting through the game without too many problems. Another good performance would be nice to get back into the rhythm again, having had the break. I think that's important. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of changes to the team. So I'm not expecting it to be the full first 11 that's been playing. So that might lead to a little bit of disjointed performance to some degree. But we've got a good squad of players, so there's no excuses. It doesn't matter who plays. We should have much more than enough to beat Bristol City. No disrespect to them. But yeah, let's hope that we obviously go through. I mean, Andrew, what's your score prediction? Are you expecting a bit of a bigger victory, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think going for the first half, yeah, it gives what's the wording don't want to say the B team. Give them a few, a starter. I think maybe second half will be more dominant because if she's going to go on that game plan, that she gives some players that don't get necessarily, they're not the A starters. I think maybe the first half we might get a goal here and there, whoever's, and it doesn't necessarily have to come from our strikers, does it? It could, within reason, it could be technically near enough anybody. But I think probably the second half she'll give game time to the likes. I don't know if someone like Mariona will be a starter. She could come in on second half. Don't know. Just getting that vibe. And then suddenly, what I'm trying to say is once you bring in the big guns, maybe we'll see more in the second half. But anyway, you're really pushing me on, and I hate doing this. Right, okay. I'm going to say it's definitely Manu because it's a cup game. I know it's an important game. And lower division club. That wasn't the wording I was going to use, but I'm keeping it really nice. If Manu's in goal, I think we're going to have at least one conceded because they're going to be playing for their lives.
Oh, yeah.
And do you know what? Sorry, can I just bring in, like the men's, when you get lower division teams that, all right, no, it's only streamed, it's not nationally televised, but hopefully Bristol are going to get some money coming in for this, that they've got to the FA Cup in this round.
Yeah,
Sorry. Just want to bring that in because I want to see that because it's all part of the women's game. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Oh, gosh. Right. Okay. I'm going to predict Manu's in goal. So we're going to hopefully only concede one. I hope I'm really wrong because I actually like the woman. Not necessarily a great deal in the first half. I'm going to say either 5-0, 5-1, depending.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, that would be good, wouldn't it? That would be good. Yeah. LG's gone 5-1 as well. Obviously, everyone's expecting Manu to play.
Sorry, I can't see the chat. So, okay, cool.
Yeah, LG's gone 5-1. Aggie's gone 4-0 to Arsenal. That seems fair enough. Something like that would not be too unexpected. Greg says, put our best team 7-0. Potentially, yeah, with our strongest team, you'd probably we could win 7-0, couldn't we? I suppose, but we could win 11-1. Who knows? We've done that before. Terry says, "Apply me, Lordy, 3-0. I'm just going to get a shot of brandy." No, a 3-0's a 3-0. We're in the next round, aren't we? Greg says, "Leo will score."
To win, you're right, Rich. Yeah, I'll give good old 1-0 to the Arsenal. I don't care. Yeah, it's a knockout round. Next.
Exactly, yeah. Greg says Leah will score. Yeah, she needs a goal. It'd be nice if she scored, wouldn't it? Joe's gone 4-0 as well. Yeah, we'll have some of that, won't we? 4-0 would be nice. I think that it's going to be a slow building game. I think that having a break and stuff like that. I think Bristol City will fight for their lives in the first 20 minutes and they work so hard. Yeah, and I think it might be a bit of a slow burner, but I think once we get going, once we get the first goal, which you'd imagine we will, I think we'll go on and win.
The floodgates will open.
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt. I know nothing about their team, their starting 11. But I can guarantee their goalkeeper will suddenly become world class. You know it.
Yes,
this is the Arsenal, isn't it? Yeah, they always become worldy.
Yeah, you can see her making 7 or 8 great saves, can't you, in this game? I think there's no doubt about that. I think that definitely happened. But I think in the end, I think our fitness and the fact that our squad depth, we can make the changes and bring players on, will make a difference. And I think that most of the goals will probably happen in the second half, maybe in the last 25 minutes or so. I think we'll end up winning quite comfortably, maybe 5 or 6-0. But I think might not necessarily be easy from the start. I think we'll have to work hard at the beginning and break them down, and then eventually the goals will come and we'll win in the end. I think fairly comfortably. And if Leslie doesn't start, she comes on. I mean, a tiring defence and Leslie coming on, even if Stina comes on against a tiring defence, you'd imagine that there's going to be goals probably scored.
Mm.
You know, like you said, if Mariona doesn't start, you bring her on with her
Oh,
quality
God,
against them, you can imagine that. Yeah, I think it could be a long afternoon for Bristol City in the end. And yeah, they might be in the game for a while, but I think I'm going to go. I'll say 6-0 because I kind of think we might score a few goals. Like, you know, we scored 3 against Bayern Munich, so we should be able to score at least 6 against.
Well, technically we should.
Against Bristol, shouldn't we? So let's hope so. But we shall see. Terry's gone 3-1 to City and 3-1 to United. I'll set her out, and Renee's already gone. No, that's not going to happen, is it?
Oh my God, Terry, I love you for all the world, mate. You can bash Arteta all you want, Nick, but leave my Renee and Richard and everybody's Renee alone. She's a girl.
Yeah,
Nick.
I think I mean, we could do a lot worse than replacing Renee with somebody else. We could do a lot worse. So let's look at it that way. Unless we were to get a top manager, which I think is unlikely now, you know, we could do a lot worse than Renee. So I've got no problem with us keeping her. LG's made a good point, which I did want to talk about a little bit as well. What did you guys think of Jonas's exclusive interview when he opened up about his time at Arsenal? Yeah, I don't know did you see that, Andreas? Have you seen that interview?
I read the contest. Yeah. I only saw a few parts of it, but I read most of his interview. And my first comment was someone should have told him silence is golden. It would have been much better if he kept silent. I think this interview, it didn't bring any new information, but it was so. He didn't make any mistakes. He had no chance, and he lost the fan base, and that's why he had to retire. If he sees it this way, then okay, but keep your opinion for yourself, Jonas, and move on. It was not necessary to bring this up and saying that the budget was not big enough to keep with and sign Mariona and such things. These are internal things, and it's past, it's gone. He should move on, and as I said, silence would have been golden for him.
I kind of get that point, but to be honest with you, I do think that there's been a lot of sort of noise around it. You know, why did he leave? What went on? And I think people are interested in what happened. And yes, I agree. We haven't really learned anything. We didn't necessarily know too much. I do think the Mariona and Viv thing is quite interesting in the fact that I do think the budget thing with the club is a big issue with the whole club in general, the women and the men. And I do think that that's probably a fair point. And he maybe looked on Viv's injuries over the last couple of years, saw Mariona could get the chance to get Mariona, who's a fantastic player. And if we could only have one or the other, I think that was the right choice. But I don't know. It's the timing of it seems a bit strange in the January transfer window. We don't have a proper manager yet. He's just got himself a new job. The timing of it is a little bit, I don't know. I'm not happy with the timing. I said it doesn't make much sense, but I don't mind him talking about it because I do think it's still a conversation that people are having, fans are having, and people are speculating about what happened, what went on there. And I think it may be he's done the interview, and that might draw a line under it now, and people can stop speculating and stop going on about it. He's made his point. He said what he wanted to say. Obviously, he's not going to be happy, is he? Really, at the end of the day, you know, the situation wasn't great, but maybe if it's going to draw a line under it for him and for everybody else, then maybe it was worth him doing it. And if that's going to be the outcome of it, then that's fine. But I don't suppose he needed to do it. You're probably right. And some of the things he didn't need to say. But I don't really mind it. I don't really mind that he's done it. Really, maybe he felt he needed to. I mean, Ed, what did you make of that? Did you see the interview? Have you seen what he said and stuff?
No, to be honest, I've only seen snippets of it. Like I said, as a person, all right, I'm not stupid towards his tenure. It wasn't working out. It was hit and miss. I get that, and I accept all of that. But I think the big, oh yeah, like I said, I've only seen snippets, and I've seen the way the snippets have been misconstrued
Yeah.
already.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
social media. Was his
Yeah.
timing right? I don't know. But the biggest factor, and it all goes back to Viv. And I'm sorry, I will call it out as much as you would. I don't know about you, Andreas, but Viv was on borrowed time. She would have gone. She got into a relationship with Beth. That's why she stayed. Fact. You cannot convince me otherwise.
No,
And
I
then,
agree. I agree.
yeah, that nobody could have foreseen the ACLs because they just happen. They're horrible. And I'm sorry, she was incredibly, I'm not going to say, well, she was lucky to be in one of the best places to deal and manage her recovery for the ACL. And I'm not going,
Yeah,
I'm not going to
absolutely.
say it's true for 1 second, but I did read somewhere, and my Dutch friend, who is not a fan of hers, she really isn't, was how much, and Gary Lewin. I've actually seen him. Short guy, sweet, at the Emirates. But she was almost slating off the whole medical team and the physios that her treatment wasn't specialised enough. Well, first of all, I think everybody still, even when I watched that documentary on it, that other than the operations they do, people are still learning about these ACLs, what causes them. And I'm going
Yeah.
to argue, being at somewhere like Arsenal, you are going to get the best treatment. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, call me out. I'm going to put it out there. I think she's a bloody prima donna. End of. And do you know another
I
factor?
agree. Yeah, I agree.
Soon,
Absolutely.
as soon as Alessia Russo, see, this is why we love Stina. She keeps it so humble. I love that girl. But Leslie Russo, who is also a darling, yeah, of course she's living her best life at Arsenal. Why shouldn't she be? She's
Yeah.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
now Renee's getting the best out of her. But I'll tell you
Mhm.
now, Viv didn't like it. She didn't like it.
Yeah, maybe
I,
that's
I,
right.
that's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
my opinion, but I'm pretty
You
sure
might be
I'm a
right.
woman. I know. Next. I
I mean,
know.
no, I'm not necessarily saying that you're wrong. I mean, LG says there, Viv's attitude was also an issue. I'm not a Jonas fan, but I agree with him choosing Mariona over Viv. Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that 100%. El Loco says Jonas pulling the plug on Viv was the right call. Viv's best days are behind her. Mariona was better option. Yeah, again, can't really argue with that. You
Totally
can't
agree.
really argue with that. I mean, I thought it was quite interesting that Jonas kind of said that once that decision had been announced about Viv, that a lot of the fan base turned against him, and that's true. It did. Absolutely. There's
That's
no doubt.
very true. But
Yeah. And
very.
sometimes, and he's right, some of the things that he said I agreed with, because like fans don't understand, a lot of fans don't understand what's going on inside the club. They don't know what's going on inside the club. You look at what's on the pitch. That's all we see, but mostly. So we can only make our decisions and our judgments on what we see on the pitch. Now, Viv obviously was a popular player. She was a great player, one of the greatest ever.
She was the goat.
Yeah, but was other stuff going on behind the scenes? Clearly, there was. You know, Viv's come out and give her point of view about it. You know, she was touting around other clubs in January last year to look for a move, which obviously would have been unsettling for everybody at the club at the time. And, you know, I think that she never helped herself. And like Jonas got all of the grief when it wasn't all of Jonas's fault. In fact, it probably wasn't really Jonas's fault at all. He was involved.
Sorry, can I just throw in again? Jonas is a head coach. Yes, he had a lot of clout at Arsenal. They put a lot of faith in him. But who is sitting there above him? And I don't like the woman, Wheatley.
We talked about her before, actually,
yeah, but she is the one above him, and she was the one that would go with the begging bowl to, at the time, was Edu, because he took over everything. I don't know how it worked out prior to when Edu took over everything, and just we haven't got one of those yet to replace Edu. Could be Thomas Brzezinski, but you never know. But no, seriously. So Jonas had his input as a head coach. Probably not as much input as Arteta does as a manager. I might be wrong here. But yeah, it was down to Wheatley and then going to Edu and then finally the Cronkies, where they're going to pay out. Who are you going to get? Because
Yeah,
if you
it
don't
was.
pay for the player, you pay for the
No,
wages.
absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just interesting, isn't it, that the fans, if it was the fans' reaction to Viv not being offered a new contract, which it seemed as though it was. I mean, we all saw that happen, didn't we?
Yes.
We all saw the reaction of the fans in general, forums, the stadium, and everywhere. You know, and that obviously was a difficult situation, and I don't think Jonas predicted that to happen in the way that it did, and he was surprised by that, wasn't he? And in the end, when you lose the support of the fans, it's very difficult for a manager to be able to produce the best performances for the team on the pitch. And in the end, maybe he's made the right decision to leave when he did. I feel a little bit sorry for him because he made what he thought was the right decision for the club, which is it was the right decision for the club. So he's actually done the good thing, made the right decision, and yet he got all the grief for it. And in the end, it's cost him his job. And I think that's a bit unfortunate. But in the long term,
Rich. It goes back to Claire Wheatley again. It wasn't just, I'm not, you know this, but I'm just saying that the bigger picture is it wasn't just down, but the fans have jumped, and I hate that word fans, but that's what they are at this point. They jumped on that. Oh, it was all Jonas. No, it wasn't.
No,
he had an input. Wheatley had a far bigger input. Bottom line, and then you speak to Edu at the time, and final buck stops with the Cronkies. And all right, they don't. Let's be blunt. They don't give a monkeys. Well, don't. How much do they really give monkeys about the women's team? Let's be honest here. Sorry. Fact. If the Cronkies feel differently, they can come on here and they can challenge me.
No, I'd love them to come on here. There's a few things I'd like to say.
Exactly. But Arsenal women just won a quadruple. Whoop, next, whatever. Back in the day, I'm sure we'll do something quite fantastic soon. But bottom line, women are going to be very secondary, and you balance the books, and like you rightly said, it all goes back to Viv, and she was the one. We all know, and bog standard ACL, bad terminology, takes time, but she had repercussions, and she had that other thing began with an M. She had something else with her ACL, and she has had a lot of problems.
No, she has a lot of problems.
But I think our physios had already predicted that, and I'm sure they would have been talking to Wheatley and Jonas at the time and saying, she ain't going to be Beth, she ain't going to be Leah, or like Vic Palova's coming back into. There's complications. Blah blah blah. Next.
The problem with Viv is she's at her best when you build the team around her, and that's what Joe Montemurro did, and therefore she had the best years under Joe. She was the player. Everything was built around, and Jonas has a different approach for the team, and for him, Viv Miedema is. She was, as hard as it sounds, she was a bench player or coming from the bench. And this would have been her role in the new season if we signed her. And I don't think the budget problem is we don't have enough budget for signing good players, but we don't have the budget to pay the highest wages to a bench player, and this was the problem. Jonas,
this is pretty much what Jonas said about if he could have kept Viv and get Mariona. It wasn't going to happen next. But
she will be on the bench for me, and I will bring her on in the second half or when I think we need her impact. But she's not a starter, and Mariona would be a starter for me. So the decision was, if I have to decide, then I want Mariona. And from the club, I think he got the alternative. You can only have one player with this high wages, but not both. If you don't consider them both starters, and therefore he made this decision. What I don't like on Jonas' interview is that he only blames the fact that he lost the fan support. I would have liked that he said it didn't work in the end, and I made mistakes myself too, and maybe the fans didn't realize our strategy, or the fans made a mistake how they judged my decision. But of course, I made mistakes too, and it didn't work in the end. This is what I was missing in his interview. when you read his interview, he made no mistake. The mistake was from the fans. They didn't understand his decision and they lost the faith in him, and therefore he had to go. That's not
okay, that I haven't read it all, so I can't comment.
That's kind of true, though, isn't it? I mean, no one's saying he didn't make mistakes. I'm sure he knows he's made mistakes. Of course he did. I mean, if he didn't make mistakes, we would have won every trophy that there was in his 3 seasons at the club, and he didn't. He did well, but the reason why he had to leave was because the fans supported a player in Viv who was way past her best and wasn't necessarily the best influence in the changing room, and they picked her over the manager because he was an easy target, wasn't he? Because we hadn't been doing as well as we wanted to do. We wasn't winning all the trophies that we wanted. We wasn't winning the WSL. We were letting Chelsea win it year after year. We were losing stupid games, and he was making some strange substitution decisions and all this kind of stuff, and all those things together. But ultimately, he's right in the sense that as soon as the crowd are against you as a manager, you've got nowhere to go. You've got nowhere to go. Once the crowd turn on you in the way that they did after that decision, it was inevitable that unless we started this season with a run of wins, the pressure on him before the season started. People were talking about it before the season started. If we don't win the WSL now, we've got rid of Viv, then it's on the manager. And this was before we even started the season. That's the pressure that he was under at that point because of how the fans viewed the situation with Viv. And I think most people now, if you look at it, yes, obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing. Mariona's been fantastic for us. Viv's injured. She's been injured most of the season. It was obviously the right decision from Jonas and the club to make that choice. It was the right decision, but it's cost him his job. And I do feel a bit sorry. I understand what you're saying, Andreas. I'm not necessarily saying that you're wrong. He did make mistakes along the way. Of course he did. And I'm sure he knows he made mistakes. He doesn't necessarily need to say that, I don't necessarily think. But I don't know. I kind of feel a bit sorry for him, if I'm honest. I do feel a little bit sorry for him that he was put in that situation, because the fans shouldn't really have be upset with your favourite players left. Of course, don't be not upset about it, but don't turn everything onto the manager, because I don't think that was fair. And I said that at the time. I didn't think it was fair the way that everybody jumped on Jonas because of a club decision to not offer a new contract to a player that had been injured for 2 years.
And technically, it was only biding her time anyway. Listen, like the rest of us, we all do social media, and I've actually unfollowed some people, and I won't call them out who they are, but I just thought, I found it very abhorrent, because I'm not about hate. And listen, I'll go back to a men's analogy. I didn't like Unai Emery. I was so Wenger, even I called Wenger out. He should go. And then I watched that DVD and I start welling up next. I'm sentimental old fool. But I was never that vitriol. I just wanted him to go. I just thought, no, he's not my boys manager, end of. But I wasn't calling it all right, social media back then wasn't quite what it is now, but I just wouldn't be that horrible person to incite hate. I don't like, I mean, all right, I'm maybe 75% on Arteta that he ain't going anywhere with the boys now. I think he did good when he come in, I'm not going to lie, sorry, just to bring it back to the men. But to be fair, I know, Rich, you're really not Arteta's biggest fan, but you've never spouted out absolute hate. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what you say is quite tongue-in-cheek because you keep it light-hearted. All right, what you feel, if you really wanted to get horrible, you could do, but you're a professional, you won't do that.
Yeah, but I mean, Ange, I'm going to Newcastle for that second leg. I'm going to Newcastle for that second leg against Newcastle in the semi-final. And if we lose that game, I'm going to be singing Arteta out at the top of my voice, and I'll be screaming
that's your prerogative,
because that's how I feel.
Yeah, but more importantly, I've seen, and I did see it on the women's whatever groups, they were getting so nasty about Jonas, and I do see it with the men, with Arteta. But to be fair to yourself, you've never spouted hate about him. You've only ever spoken about his lack of managerial tactics, and that's fine. Yeah. We are entitled to have opinion, and if the women allegedly, because listen, I don't know much about football. I just see hopefully goals next. You know, I'm a very basic person, but yeah, there's one thing to have an opinion, but the sort of hate I was seeing, it really, and there's something with
But
this said person
what you've
really
got to
upset
remember,
me.
and what you've got to remember is women are very emotional. And
Yes, yes, we said this
when women
before.
feel that they've been scorned or they've
Yes,
been
that's it. Yeah, you're
hard
right.
done by, they react really, really
Yeah,
emotionally. Right?
yeah.
It's just a natural thing in women. There's nothing wrong with it necessarily. It's just the way that women are made up, is to do with their hormones and
Do you
everything
know,
else.
that's an interesting concept because I'm not one of those women, actually.
No, I'm not saying all women are, but in general,
Yeah,
women
but
do
I hear what you're saying,
emotionally.
and that's predominantly what I did see. And my
Yeah,
biggest
exactly.
platform is Facebook, and I'm on a certain very big group, and I actually thought, come on, please, ladies, can you stop?
Yeah.
And then
It was,
certain
yeah, I
men
didn't like that.
jumped
I
on the
didn't like that.
bandwagon, and I thought, get over yourselves next.
Yeah.
And oh, listen, I knew Jonas's days were numbered.
I think we all
Sorry,
do. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
But
think we all did,
only,
but.
but his days were numbered after the Viv situation.
Well, yes,
It
very
wasn't
much
really
so. Yeah.
obvious before. Yes, okay, we didn't have a great season last year. We
I
did
think
win a trophy,
not
but it
being
wasn't a
in the
great season.
Champions League, and back to
Yeah,
Mr. Tim Stillman. Yes, obviously the board, Wheatley, that wasn't
yeah.
good. We all felt that was bad because, come on, it's Arsenal women next. But we were prepared. We go again, and all right, it wasn't the best under Jonas, and it's got a lot better since we got Rene. So that's why we embrace. But do you know what? I really hope, bottom line, what am I saying here? I hope they give Rennie the job. And there'll be times when the girls don't play so well. So I'm not going to be one of those people calling for a head. Let's see who is. Let's see how fickle they are when they suddenly turn.
It'll
Yeah.
be interesting, won't it? So, yeah,
Mm,
we haven't had a bad run yet under Rene, have we?
yeah.
We've won nearly every game, and it'll be interesting to see how everybody reacts if she does get the job permanently, and then we do
Yes.
hit a little bit of a sticky run of form, which
Yeah,
is
I do
inevitable at some point.
That's
Everybody does. Everybody has a
Yeah.
few games when it doesn't work, and they lose a couple of games here and there.
Mm,
And it'll be interesting to see how the fans do react to that, because
very much so. Yes.
yeah,
That's what I'm
but
waiting for.
fans are quite fickle. You're right.
Yeah, fickle fans, yeah.
Yeah.
Try
But
being a loyal supporter. Win, lose, draw. Next.
well, no, it is, and I think sometimes it's okay to feel upset and angry about certain things that are going on at the club. That, you know, when the club's taken up so much of your life and things aren't going the way that you think they should be going, you're entitled to get upset and angry about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's natural. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's how you do it. Maybe you're right. It needs to be focused in the right way. Otherwise, there's no point. But I think football's quite an emotional sport anyway. I know I sort of made it sort of pointing towards women. I think men get quite emotional about their club because it's so important to us as well. And it is quite an emotional sport, isn't it?
That's so much time, effort, monies, whatever. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do, and sometimes we don't always think clearly about when it comes to our own club. We don't always think clearly because I don't think we're able to, because of how emotionally attached we are. And I think that's the case in life in general, isn't it? When you're emotionally attached to things, you can't see things clearly, and sometimes it affects and stuff like that. But ultimately, Jonas made that decision. The club made that decision, and as fans, we had the choice to either support that or not, and we chose in general not. And that's where we are. And as it's turned out, it may well turn out for the best, because if Rene does get the job, we continue the form we're in, and we finish the season with a trophy or two or three or four, then everybody's going to not care that Jonas left in the way that he did, are they? No one's going to be bothered. Everybody
they need to move on. Yeah, it's a new dawn.
I suppose if this season ends up the same as last season and the season before, and if next season, if Rene gets the job and next season isn't really much of an improvement, we're going to be back in the same situation that we were before, aren't we? I suppose that's what's going to happen. But we can't know that what's going to happen. We have to make a decision and go with it. And if it's the right one, it's the right one. If it isn't, then we'll have to change. LG says, I think it shows the club needs to be a little bit of transparency at times. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. Ryan says they're better to get a manager in that wins 10 and 11 games. Well, obviously, yeah, of course it is. But then there's no saying that we wouldn't have won those games with Jonas in charge. Really, we'd never know. We might not have done. We'll never actually know that, will we? But El Loco says We owe Jonas so much because he gave us Rene. Well, he did give us Rene. That's absolutely true. So there's a good point, actually. Maybe we should appreciate that.
Do you know what? Sorry, just you jogged my memory again, and somebody else, can't remember it was, called it out wherever I saw it. But I tell you, he brought the players in. Look at the players we got.
No, he did, yeah, absolutely. Well, he's brought this squad.
I mean, Olivia Russo, she's living her best life next, and she's come on, she's a new English sweetheart.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, he's brought all of the players that we've got, or not all of them.
Yeah.
Some were there before. All the new players that's coming. Obviously, Rene hasn't brought anybody yet because he hasn't had a transfer window. So yeah, he's brought us this squad, and at the end of the day, it's a good squad of players. Terry says Viv is just bored. Give her Win the Dog to give her something to take her a bit of mind off things. Well, she's injured at the minute, isn't she? So she needs to get herself fit.
Oh no, she's coming back now. Their Garcia manager said she's going to come. She could maybe not start her, but yeah, she could be in contention for Sunday.
Well, she might well be. Joe says the fact that we had a terrible start to this season with the team Jonas wanted was the final. Now, yeah, I think the circumstances were tough then, but yeah, you're right. If we started the season well, he might have got away with it, I suppose, but we didn't. And of course, that game against Man City, when before the game even started, there were Arsenal fans, I hope Viv scores a hat-trick and stuff like that. It's like, come on. Do you know what I mean? We want Arsenal to win, regardless of all of that.
Well, and yes, seriously.
Going into that game was tough. It was tough for everybody. And, you know, we drew the game, which wasn't a disaster, but obviously things didn't quite work out. There, women not afraid to show emotion. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're not afraid to show it. Maybe that's a good way of putting it, actually. But yeah, so at least you're agreeing with me that they are emotional creatures, which is fine, absolutely fine. Terry says, let's be honest, Rene is important as important as Win the Dog. Well, I think she's a bit more important than Win the Dog. I think Win the Dog's going to change his name to Lose the Dog, and maybe we should lose the dog. Not that there's nothing wrong with the dog. He's lovely, but he's not really helped, does he? Let's be honest. Greg says, Win the Dog is more important. No, he's not. Come on, Win the Dog's not, is he?
No, it's a girl. Win's a girl.
Egg says, "Is there a dog named Win?" There is. It's the Arsenal dog. That's at the training ground. Yeah. So there is a dog in here, and
the
it's
chocolate Labrador.
Yes, it's a nice dog. It's a cute dog and all that kind of stuff.
But she's a rescue doggy, and she's a wee bit older.
No, she's lovely. She is lovely. But even so, you know, we shouldn't really be focusing on dogs at the training ground.
I think there's bigger things here.
Winning trophies, really, shouldn't we? But anyway, there's nothing wrong with winning the dog. To be honest, he's cute, a cute dog, there's no doubt. But yeah, I mean, all of that was a bit of a mess. Obviously, Jonas hasn't necessarily helped the situation. I personally don't really mind him coming out and having an interview about it. And you know, it's done now, isn't it? He's gone. I say we've got a new manager. We haven't technically got a new manager yet. We've had an interim manager in the meantime, and we need to the club need to. The only way this will be finished is when the club make the announcement, isn't it? Announce the new manager, whoever it is. Then that's when this whole thing is finished. And yeah, that's what needs to happen because, quite honestly, it's causing distractions that we don't need. Quite honest, isn't it? We've been talking about it a lot over the last few weeks about the manager situation. We've talked about it tonight about the manager situation. It's a distraction from the real things that matter, which is the games that's coming up. The big games that's coming up and the season as a whole coming up. So before we finish, what we need to do, we need to make one wish for the new year because it's a new year. So we need to make one wish. What is our one wish? So looking at that picture there, that's my wish. Champions League. Winning the Champions League, wouldn't that be something? 2025, let's get that thing won. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? But to be honest with you, I would be quite happy if we win the FA Cup again. We haven't won that for ages. And of course, the WSL seems a little bit too far away. But there's still a lot to play for in 2025. But yeah, the Champions League for me would be absolutely incredible.
Oh, sorry. I'm suddenly going into men's mode. Yeah, if it's the women, Champions League would be the ultimate, actually.
It would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
it would be
for the women.
For the women, I think we can do it. I do. You know, the way we recover from that Bayern Munich game to win that group, teams will fear playing us. Teams will fear playing us with the players we've got now. And I think we can surprise a few people in that competition this year. And I'm really, really looking forward to that knockout stage. I can really see us something special there this year. And let's imagine winning that again before Chelsea have won it. Wouldn't that be amazing? So we've got two, and you haven't got any. That'd be amazing. So let's do that's my one wish for 2025, to win that Champions League. Andreas, what's your wish for 2025?
No, I stay a bit more humble, and I say my wish is we win one trophy. The season started so bad. In late September, early October, we thought the season is over just 3 or 4 weeks after it has started. So I would say let's win one trophy, and I'm really satisfied with this season, and then regroup and attack in all competitions next season when everything is settled and it's clarity about the manager situation. When we look about at the age structure of our team and so on, everything for the new season. But for this season, my wish is one trophy.
I only want one trophy as well. I just want the Champions League. That's what I want, because it'd be amazing. No, to be honest, I agree. One trophy would be fantastic. Let's be honest. The season that we've had, the trauma that we've had to go through this season to get where we are, winning a trophy would be great. Hopefully, there's nothing wrong with a Continental Cup. I wouldn't mind winning that again, but I think we need something a little bit more than that now, don't we? We need, with the squad that we've got and stuff like that, I think we need more than that. But yeah, a trophy would be great. The Champions League would be amazing. And what would be your what's your big dream for 2025? What do you want?
Rene, head coach.
Well, there you go. What more could we want? Exactly. That would be a good.
Because I got total faith in her, and I'm a low achiever. And once again, the women are holders like Arsenal men. What's it called now? I love the Continental Tires Cup. I was lucky enough to go to the final last season. But I'd really like the FA Cup back, because I went to Wembley still traumatised in that horrible, horrible weather. What was it, the post-lockdown thing? And our girls were annihilated by Chelsea. So I want that final again. I want that final, because I'll be able to go, because our Steve will get me there. And I want to be there. I want to be at Wembley, because Wembley is like hallowed sacred turf, and I want to see our girls lift the FA Cup. Anything else would be a bonus, Nick. And I want it with Renee, because she can do it with the players we've got.
No, I agree. The FA Cup would be great, actually, because we haven't played for ages.
I love my FA Cup.
There's nothing like a day out at Wembley, is there? There's nothing to beat out at Wembley I know. I was at that one against Chelsea when we lost 3-0, and that was horrible.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible.
It was one of the worst.
I'm still traumatised, actually. I really am.
But we kind of got revenge on them since a couple of finals, haven't we? So we've
We've
got. I know it's not quite the same, the Continental Cup and the FA Cup. But we've maybe put that behind us a little bit, haven't we? So we'll see. Greg says it just shows desperately we need a new ball. No, we do, absolutely. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Aggie's gone with me. She wants to win the Champions League as well. Hey, let's think big. Let's dream big. I like to dream big.
I'd like a good run in the Champions League.
Well, yeah, exactly. The club should have put out a statement explaining the situation with Viv, rather than throwing Jonas under the bus and letting him.
You know what? Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The club should have maybe done a bit more. You're right. Terry's dream is that Sorty comes at the end of January.
Terry, sweetheart, no.
Andy's meltdown would be funny, wouldn't it, if that happens, actually. Greg says to have settled management. Well, obviously, we all want that, don't we? We all want that. Right. Sorty is Emma Hayes, of course. That's who we're referring to there, in case you're not. Obviously, it's been a thing on the show for a long time. Aggie's just made a mistake, though. She win the Euros. No, England are going to win the Euros. Come on. Look, we love Sweden, but there's limits. There's limits to what we can say.
Sorry, can I put this out here, folks? There's only one job Salty wants. We know what she wants, and that's when Serena goes, and that's when I stop supporting the Lionesses. Next, and I'll go back to my really Northern Irish roots. Next, that's the only job. She don't want the Arsenal. She blew that one. She didn't stay long enough. Next, she wants England. That's what she wants.
I agree. She does want the England job, and she may well get the England job next time.
I'm sure
maybe why she's going to do international football now, so that she can say, "Look, I'm an international manager now. You can trust me to be manager of England." Maybe that's why she's done it. But anyway, we'll see. I don't think Serena's going anywhere yet. And we might well win the Euros. Who knows? We might win the Euros this summer. That would be
I hope we
that'd be a good
do.
way to round up. Arsenal win the Champions League and then England win the Euros again. Wow, what a summer that would be. Incredible. That would be really good, wouldn't it? 170 Gunner says, I want to win the WSL. No, we all want to win the WSL. I'm just looking at it.
That'd be
From the fact
amazing.
that we're a long way behind Chelsea, aren't we? And they need to slip up quite a few times.
Yeah.
And we pretty much win every game, which I'm not saying we can't do, but the chance of that happening seems quite slim. I'd love to win the WSL. Obviously, that's got to be the aim for next season, 100%. But I think this season we've left that start has left us too much to do. But let's see. If we beat Chelsea, we beat Man City next few weeks, who knows? Maybe we can turn it around.
I would actually take coming second. I'm fed up with third, and just getting Man City down to third. That to me would be a big achievement.
Well, we could do that. We're only a point behind them, so we'll definitely.
If we carry on the form we are, it should be very achievable. I don't think we're going to catch Chelsea, sadly, not this season. But if we're nipping at their toes next, is what it is.
Let's. Obviously, we need to overtake Man City first because they're the next team above us, and then see where they go. But I agree. I think catching Chelsea is probably one step too far.
I think so.
It's got to be the aim for the future. Aggie's gone, no, why not England? Come on, we won it before, we can win it again. Come on, we need to do that, don't we? One second says, no one cares about the Euros. Of course they do. Everyone cares about the Euros. We won it. We're the holders. Everybody cares about the Euros, don't we? Everybody does. Come on, we're the first.
I love the reader.
Of course we care. We're defending our title. It's going to be good. Greg says 2025 has to be the year the Lord gives full-time scores and not half-time scores. Maybe that's what. Maybe if we win 6-0 on Sunday, maybe that will start happening. Greg says Sweden has only got Stina. We've got Russo. Well, I wouldn't say it like that, but obviously we have got Russo. Which is good.
Don't upset my Swedish friends on here, but
Yeah, I don't think Sweden will win the Euros. They'll do well. They've got a great side, but England will win it. Obviously, we're going to win it 2 times in a row. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? But there's a lot to look forward to in 2025, isn't there? I know the manager situation is the first thing that needs to be sorted out, and I'm sure it will be. And then we need to build on the last 10-11 games. We need to take that momentum into this year. We've got the FA Cup now the weekend, which we should win. We've got the quarterfinal of the Continental Cup to come as well in a few weeks' time. And of course, we'll have the draw for the Champions League soon as well for the knockout stages. There's lots and lots still to look forward to. Yes, the WSL will keep plugging away. I'm sure we'll keep picking up points and going and doing what we can. But we've got some exciting things to come this year, haven't we? Really exciting things still to come. And I think 2025 is going to be a good year. I think it's going to be a good year. And let's hope that it brings another trophy, because we've got kind of used to winning trophies now, haven't we? We've had 2 in a row. And, it's a nice feeling, isn't it? And winning the league's great, don't get me wrong, but winning a cup final, it's a one-off game. It's just something special, isn't it? And the excitement that creates is unmatched, really. So if we can't win the league, which probably not, let's at least win one of those cups, if not all 3 of them. That'd be good. Imagine winning them 3 cups. Wouldn't that be something special? Why can't we do it? Look at our squad of players. Look at the form we're in. Let's be positive and optimistic. Let's go and let's try and win them all. LG says Sweden are the ultimate almost team in the women's game. Yeah, they are. They're always there on thereabouts, aren't they? Semi-finals, quarter-finals, all that kind of stuff. They always get far into tournaments and never quite manage to get it over the line. Maybe they should get Arteta as their manager, because he's good at that, isn't he? He's good at getting so far and then falling. Maybe that's his future. Sweden women's team manager. That'd be a good job for him, actually. If he wants to take it now, we'd be quite happy. Greg says, now you're talking, and she's a fantastic player. Of course, Asllani, yes, she is. Asllani is a fantastic player. Absolutely no question about that. Muzovic, we're not keen on Muzovic, so are we? Because she plays for the wrong team. So we don't really like her, do we? But she's a decent goalkeeper, I suppose. Ag says, we don't need Arteta. See, nobody needs Arteta, though, do they? Nobody needs it. He's one of them little nuisance things that just hangs around. And it's like when you have a party at your house. There's always someone, isn't there, that will never go home. They just hang around. And no one wants them there, but you just can't get rid of them. And that's Arteta. That's Arteta summed up, isn't it? He's a person at the party that you can't get rid of. Canyard is the best player. Well, she's one of the best players in the league. Yeah, she is, actually. There's no doubt about that. But she's not better than Stina, though. Come on. I'm not having it. She's not. No one's better than Stina. Stina's the best player in the league. So that is, well, it's 2025. Can you believe it's 2025? I can't. It seems incredible, doesn't it? That it is 2025 already, and the WSL's not back, but the women's team are back on. Well, let's hope they're back on Sunday.
Hopefully Sunday. I really would like it to take place.
I would like it to be played. Of course, we'd all like it to be played. We've gone long enough without a game. We need a game. Let's hope it's on. And it's great to have the women's football back, isn't it? It's, you know, I think we've all suffered a bit. I've certainly suffered over Christmas and that, having to watch the men's team more because it's all there has been, and it's kind of started to frustrate me a little bit. So I'll be glad of the distraction of the women's team, which is a fantastic distraction to have, and we're looking forward to the games coming up. Of course, the WSL's back next week as well, which is going to be really exciting, isn't it? So yeah, lots to look forward to. Hopefully an announcement this week at some point, or some point this year would be nice, Arsenal. If you want to announce a manager this year during 2025, then please do so. It's dragged on a little bit too long, you know. It's too long now, but I'm sure that's coming. Obviously, transfer window. Wow, is there gonna be some new signings coming or people going? We shall see. Greg says it only feels like yesterday we were still going time. It does, doesn't it? It does only feel like yesterday. It's amazing how quickly time's gone, isn't it? Really. I mean, how long has the Emirates been here now? What's is it 20? No, it's 19 years, isn't it? 19 years this year.
Really? Wow.
19 years. Incredible. We left Highbury 19 years ago. Wow, that is mad. That is absolutely mad, isn't it? But yeah, it's true. The time's slow, doesn't it? And here we are, 2025. It's going to be a good year, though. It is going to be a good year. We are going to be lifting some trophies. We'll have to get some great memories from this year. We'll definitely be. What we'll have to do is we'll have to meet up at a game at some point this year, won't we? One of the games coming up, we'll have to meet up and it's going to be good. So we'll definitely do that. Egg says there, so fun with matches again. Good night from Snowstorm. You got snowstorm, maybe? Okay. Well, we've got very cold weather, so we've got very Swedish weather at the moment.
Yeah, we haven't got snow in North London yet.
No, we've not got snow, but we've got ice and freezing cold, and it's not been a great week.
Cold. It's pretty cold.
It's freezing. Yeah, it feels like Sweden actually. That's what it feels like. But yes,
no, Sweden would be a lot better. My daughter went to Finland when she was studying photography at uni, and she suffers with asthma. And because the air's so clean, and she was quite scared that she was going to have asthma attack, and she adjusted so well because of the clean air, and especially us living in London. Yeah, she suffers here, but out there. So I would say Sweden would be pretty much the same. Yeah, different air quality.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Maybe we should move to Sweden. It'd be interesting to know how many, the people live longer in Sweden because they've got cleaner air than we have in England. Maybe they do. Might be worth looking at that, mightn't it?
Well, actually, one of those Scandinavian countries has quite a high suicide rate. I think it's to do with the lack of sunlight. Maybe it's Sweden. I'm not sure. I think they just have serial killers. No disrespect, just so.
It won't be Iceland because Iceland's lovely, isn't it? Iceland's beautiful, so it won't be Iceland.
They've got volcanoes erupting. I can go there. All right, allegedly they've got Northern Lights. Well, sorry, when you lived there, did you see the Northern Lights, Rich? Up north?
Well, yeah, we sort of had it there.
We had lights.
They used to say, didn't they? It was like a once in a lifetime thing, and we've seen it like 5 times.
Every other thing.
Yeah, so it's like it's a weekly thing now. It's like, what's going on? But no, we did see.
I got so upset because people lived, because I am originally a Hertfordshire girl, and people who live a few miles away. Oh, we saw Northern Lights. Well, you didn't go to sleep, did you? I go to sleep about 10, 11 o'clock. And I live in a ground floor flat, and we got light pollution. I can't see the sky that well next. And suddenly they stayed up all night just to see, allegedly the Northern Lights. Not believing it.
I saw them coming out. I was driving home from work one day and I could see them just around the corner where I live. It was like, wow, look at that, brilliant. Yeah, it was lovely. Actually, it's Finland. It is Finland that has got a higher suicide rate.
Oh, there you go. Thank God my daughter didn't stay there too long.
I think all they do in Finland is just fish, don't they, really? It's just, they just go fishing, don't they? That's pretty much what they do. So you imagine there can't be much else to do. And then once you've done fishing for a bit, you probably think, what do I do now? You're just bored, aren't you? Probably.
The meaning of life is gone, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So, but, Finland's probably lovely as well. I've never been there, so I don't know. But It's cold, obviously, which doesn't help, does it? Greg says, I saw Father Christmas. We all saw Father Christmas. It wasn't last week, it was the week before, wasn't it? We all saw Father Christmas, didn't we? Because it was Christmas and we all saw him, didn't we? Does he live in, he doesn't live in Finland, though, does he? Aggie says, no, there's no crime. I'm sure there is some crime in Finland. I just think there's no police to kind of catch the criminals. So it looks like there's no crime. They just get away with it. There's got to be crime, hasn't there? There's crime everywhere. If there's not one place that hasn't got crime, I wouldn't imagine. Terry says, I saw the Northern Lights when I went to Blackpool. What a dumb. I don't think you've seen the Northern Lights in Blackpool, would you? You might have seen Blackpool Tower lit up. I don't think that's
I was going to say Blackpool Tower.
It's Blackpool Tower with lights on. That's what you saw. They're not the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
They're just like in the north of England. But anyway. Oh, dear. Finland. Oh, Father Christmas from Finland, is he? That's interesting. I didn't know he was from Finland. He said there's no crime, so I didn't know he was from Finland either. But there you go.
I don't know. I've got to look that up. Not entirely convinced.
Bag says he's from Finland. He's from Finland.
Okay, I'm not calling you out.
But Ronaldo was in Finland. What was Ronaldo doing in Finland? Was he putting the Christmas lights on? Was he? Did he turn the Christmas lights on in Finland? Is that what it is? He's not played football in Finland, has he? I don't think. But anyway. It's well, there you go. You see, you learn something on this show every week, don't you? There's always something interesting.
Very educational.
It is very educational, yeah. We learn about food, we learn about geography, we learn about Father Christmas. What more? Yeah. What more do you want? So there you go. Anyway, so that is the Arsenal Women's Show. It is finally back for 2025, and we have got a lot to look forward to. I'll be here on Sunday, regardless of the weather, because the show won't get cancelled if it snows, but the game might. Well, the women's game might. The men's game will be on, so we will have one game at least anyway going ahead for definite. Hopefully, we'll have the women's game as well, but let's see. And of course, it all kicks off at 3:00, so we'll be about 3:15. Obviously, we'll know by then if the game's on or not. The women's game, that is. So we'll see. But yeah, so join us for that, please, if you are around, because it's going to be good, isn't it? It's FA Cup weekend. I mean, what more do you want? Come on, it's FA Cup, the greatest competition in the world. And of course, in the men and the women, we are the record winners of the competition. So, you know, we need to enjoy it, don't we? And it all kicks off this week. So that's going to be good. So join me on Sunday. Next week, it's not Champions League next week, is it, for the men? That's the week after, isn't it?
Not yet.
It's the week after, isn't it? It's the week. Let me just check the fixtures. So...
Yeah, the women are week after.
Oh no, actually, Arsenal playing Tottenham, aren't they? Midweek, Wednesday night in the Premier League. Oh, so that's going to be good. So we'll have to obviously watch that game as well, because that would be great. North London derby. So yeah, lots to come, of course, and of course, the return of the WSL next Sunday, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, next Sunday for WSL.
We'll be back on Friday. Yeah, we're back on Friday again. We'll look back on the Bristol City game, of course. We'll look into Crystal Palace. We'll talk about the new manager decision, announcement that they're going to make now this week. Of course they are. So we'll talk about that next week as well. Whoever it is, whether it's Renee, whether it's Emma Hayes, whether it's somebody else that we don't know about, we'll talk about that next week.
We'll be talking exactly like we did this week, because they won't announce it. Yeah,
we probably will do. Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, it'll be worse next week if they're still not announced it, won't it?
That'd be too silly. That's really getting silly.
It would be. It's pretty getting silly anyway. Terry says, same thing, ain't it? Saw the Southern Lights in Herne Bay High Street. Yeah, you probably did see the Southern Lights. Aggie says there are people from all over to see Santa in Finland. No, I'm sure if Santa's in Finland, then people are going to come and see him, aren't they? Well, you don't need to. If you wait long enough, he'll just come down your chimney and he'll turn up at your house. So you don't need to go to Finland. Terry says, great show, Richard, Lordy, and half-time manager. That's probably about right. We have to call it half-time manager, won't we? Terry says, night, Greg, all in the chat. Also hit the like. Yeah, do hit the likes and subscribe. We'll be back on Sunday. This has been the Arsenal Women's Show. It's been great. The weekend officially starts. It's going to be cold and stuff like that. So wrap up warm if you are out and about this weekend, especially if you're at the Arsenal Women's game Sunday, because it is going to be chilly down there. So wear your woolly hat and your scarf and a couple of jumpers and stuff, you'll be fine. And we're going to win. There's going to be loads of goals to keep you warm and cheer you up, so that'll be good. Obviously, Andreas, good to see you back for 2025. It's always a pleasure, of course. Have you enjoyed the show?
Yeah, of course. I enjoyed being back on the show, and I think today's show showed us that it's necessary that women's football is back. We were talking so much other things. We need more women's football in action, so that we have to talk about the games, not all the subjects around and things. and everything. Don't look back, look forward for the games, and that's what I'm waiting for. That women's football is back, and so hopefully this weekend, and yeah, looking forward to a great year. Hopefully,
Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. That's what we want, don't we? A great year. And as well, good to see you again. I know you're
Thank
a
you.
bit late. We'll let you off because you know you're special, so we don't mind.
Yes.
Did you enjoy being on? It's been good to see you anyway. It's been good to have you back. So yeah, that has been the and says Alvida's. Oh look, she's speaking German. That's good, isn't it? She can speak Swedish, she can speak German. There we go. Even I can understand that, but that's only because we had that TV program, Alvida's Own Pet.
Right, man. Oh, sorry.
That's why
Sorry. Brilliant.
Terry says Renee's gone. Renee hasn't gone. She's not going anywhere. She's not going. Don't you worry about that. Terry says, a night all, Terry, Rich, and the Lord. See you later. And Emma. No, it's not going to be Emma next week. It isn't going to be Emma next week. Don't keep worrying about that. So there you go, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back Sunday. Hopefully 2 games, but it might only be 1. Let's be honest. But hopefully 2. We'll see that. It's going to be a great weekend. The women's team are back. We are going to love it, aren't we? Well, I hope they're back on Sunday. We are going to enjoy the game. We'll be back next Sunday to look back on the game that hopefully went ahead. And the new management decision. It's going to this week. Come on, this week. Announce it, please. We're sick of waiting. Get it done, guys. We will see you soon. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been the Arsenal Women's Show. And come on, you Gunners. Let's get it done. See you soon.
bye.